Yeah, you're gay.
All hell, rap motherfuckers get back, snort rails. Kick back with a six-pack, hell, he gon' do what he want, leaving others impaled. A podcast levels far beyond that. This ain't no bullshit, it's marsh pits and all that. Real talk with a steel got tasted. Red still spill jizz on your faces. Gone ape shit, blaze it and take it in. Ratt talks with crack rocks and gin. Metalheads unite with a grin. Goddamn master man, that's real shit now. So open up your mind to smoke a bowl. A bunch of potheads getting stoned, you know how it go. It's the new show on the block. 100% uncut rock top.
All right, this is Ratt Talk episode 4. Yeah, 4. Almost forgot how many episodes I did. In the studio today, I've got Frank and Jesse, very good friends of mine.
What up?
What's up, guys? How's it going today?
Good.
Pretty good.
Nervous about the
Dude,
whole
I'm
show
feeling that
right now?
intro.
Yeah, it's a good
I was
intro.
hearing the
Yeah,
last
thank you.
episode.
There
It
you
was
go.
pretty dope,
Another
man.
shout out to Scribble, man.
Yeah,
See?
man. Shout out to Scribble. It's a good intro.
Yeah, he fucking killed it on that one. So today, usually, from what I've always just told people about the podcast is like, oh, I got, artists, comedians, people that would come in. Today, I decided to try something else. I'm having Frank and Jesse in here to talk real situations, things that are going on in our country today, which, to me is like, it's getting pretty big at this point, because Jesse, I know you do drag.
Yeah.
And then Frank, you said you had a lot of input in the whole transgender situation and all that good stuff. So let's get into it. Let's start off with you guys. Anything? Well, how did you guys meet? First of all.
Well, it was actually completely unintentional the way me and Jesse met. I was with a couple of buddies of mine from work, and I was telling them all about like the gay scene and the gay bars and how a lot of the times most straight dudes from like personal experience when they go to like the gay bar and the gay club, as long as they go with their girlfriend or like their homegirls, like they actually end up having a really good time there more than a lot of the straight bars.
I can see that, dude. Totally.
Yeah, no. And so I told him, hey, guys, let's go. Like, trust me, you're going to have a good time. And, like, some of my buddies are like, oh, I don't want to get hit on all night. First of all, like, that's not how it works. Like, you got to get over yourself. I mean, if you're too nervous or afraid to go to a gay bar just because you're afraid of getting hit on, you're clearly not comfortable with your own sexuality. So
yeah, okay.
That's quick input on that.
See, but, I know. Thank you for putting that out because I was already going to be like, I don't know if I win. I'm a pretty handsome dude.
I mean, if they were to buy you a drink, I mean, I would take the drink and say sorry.
Yeah,
no,
but that's pretty cool though. I mean, at least they were open to going, really, right?
Yeah, no, and everyone ended up wanting to go. Like, I had this little clique at I worked at the mall, Santa Anita Mall in Arcadia, and we had all this little clique from different shops and stores, and we kind of would come together after work and just hate on customers.
Oh yeah, totally.
And then so we decided, hey, how about this weekend we'll go to the gay bar? And yeah, like I said, I convinced everyone. So we ended up going to West Hollywood, the hot spot, I guess, if you will, for the gay community.
I mean, I'm pretty. Yeah, everybody knows when it's West Hollywood.
That's the spot to
go.
Even
even as a kid, growing up and hanging out with all the fucking little douchebags, like, oh, you gonna go to West Hollywood and hang out with all the gay guys and everything? It's like, hey, shut up. You don't even know. Right?
For real,
not even that bad.
It really isn't. They have fucking awesome drinks, cheap, and it's just always a good time. The thing about people forget, like, the gay community is really, like, more about acceptance. So when you go to, like, those kind of bars and clubs, it's more like just be yourself, and like if you want to dance and look kind of dumb, do it. Do your own thing. We're not going to judge you. Who are we to judge you?
Yeah, cool. I mean, see, like because I've never been to a gay bar. I've never gone to a gay club or anything. I mean, I've hung around gay people, obviously, but I've never actually had the gay experience. I guess you would say, like going to those kind of events and just seeing how the people react. Like I had an old coworker who was a supervisor of mine. And it was when Pride was going on, and the first thing he's like, dude, have you ever gone? And I was like, no, like, I mean, it's not.
Pride's actually going on this weekend.
Really, is it?
LA Pride is this weekend.
See, I work all fucking weekend, so I wouldn't even be able to make it.
Yeah. See, but the thing is, like, when you party with gay people, or if you go with somebody to a club, we're just there to have fun. Like, we're not there to bother anybody. Like, when I was single, I was never there to be like, oh, who am I gonna find? Let me find the closest straight guy and mess with him. Like, You know, I actually take a lot of my straight male friends, and you know, when other people take their straight female friends, it actually lucks out because they end up
easy
out.
pickings, man.
It's easy pick.
I'm telling you, the most of the buddies, almost I've never had any of my straight friends be like, "Oh, I didn't like the gay club." Like it was not only was it a blast, but it's easy pickings for them. Like they'll single out like the straight girl that came with the gay homeboy, and hey, there you go. You just got yourself a pretty chick right off. No competition.
See, the media is doing it wrong. Then that's where.
So
take notes, guys. Go get more gay friends and go to clubs.
Yes, we will be your best wingmen.
Be like, oh, I have a hot friend. Like, she's single. I brought her here. Who'd you come with? And I'll introduce you. Like,
dude, that's awesome. See, now I wish I was single now.
Just for a little bit.
Just for a little bit.
No, yeah. So we ended up going to WeHo. The club that I chose was 18 and over because not everyone was 21 and over. 21. So it was. Okay. I think it's called Rage. Rage, right? Me and him have later history at Rage that was really bad, involving fights and being banned over a year. But that'd be later.
We'll get that.
But yeah,
a little
so
bit.
we go and me and my friends were all dancing. We're having a good time, and like right off the bat, what caught my attention with Jesse was he's so good at dancing. Like he's always had like really good rhythm and like that. Like I looked like he was just like all dressed up. He was dancing like his heart out, having a really good time, and I just kept looking, and I tried not to stare. But you know, at the same time, same time, I did want to like make sure, like, hey, I made eye contact with you, like that subconscious, like, oh, I'm sorry, I accidentally make eye contact with you, but not really because I'm trying to get your attention. Yeah, and so
smooth,
right?
See, that's what it is.
I was actually there by default because it was my 25th birthday, and I was at a bar before I went to Rage. I was at Fiesta Cantina, down like a few blocks down, or like a block down, and I was having drinks with my friends and just hanging out. It was on a Thursday, I think. And I remember, like, I was like, I don't want to go out.
So yeah, like a typical night where like you're not like, oh yeah, let's go to a club or anything.
Yeah,
it was just
I wasn't planning on going
awesome
to the club.
Night.
It was like, let's go to the bar, have some drinks, and then we were there having drinks. And my best friend's like, hey, let's go over to Rage, let's go dance. And I'm like, I don't want to go to Rage. That was like one of the first clubs I went to when I turned 18. So for me, I was like
burned out,
kind of like
that.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm glad he ended up.
We ended up. My friends forced me. Well, they didn't force me, but they finally convinced me to go over. I'm like, fine, let's go dance. Fuck it. So I get there, and I remember like he was dancing with his friends, and I remember like looking at one of my friends, and the first thing I told him was, "I want him." It's exactly what I said.
Yeah, see,
and then, like the whole night, like we made eye contact.
We had already.
You guys, your eyes were dancing with each other.
Pretty much. I didn't even know who was gay.
I'll be honest. I was like, I was the major bitch. I couldn't like be the one to go up and like, hey, introduce myself. In fact, like, so we're dancing the whole night. We're all the entire night. We're completely like separate, but dancing nearby. And so it comes down to the bar closing. It's already like 2 a.m. And everyone's leaving. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna make my move. I'm like purposely waiting. I'm like, my friends are like, come on, let's go. And I'm like, wait, I'll catch up. I'm gonna use the restroom.
I was just gonna say that right now too. Yeah. Like when you like someone, you want to stay as long as you can, and I'm waiting. Try to hype yourself up to be like.
And he was waiting for me too. And then this I remember to this day, and I it's pretty embarrassing, but I don't really mind telling it because I see him. I'm like, here we go. Like I'm not really a shy person. All the other people that I've ever like gone up to, I can. You know, hey, what's going on? Like,
you're a very easygoing person.
Yeah,
like,
so I don't know what came over me, but I start walking towards him, and I just like bail. Like
the corner.
I literally fucking L. I went like in an L, which burned myself. Yeah. So I'm like walking and cut to the right. I'm like, oh, I'm going to the restroom.
And then I say hi first.
And
I have to say hi
he
first,
snatches me and he's like, hey, hi. I'm like, oh. Give him a little look of like surprise, like
oh, I didn't see you there.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to talk to you, but hey.
While he was walking right towards me, then cut to the corner. I'm like,
so I'm glad that happened. And then we just chit chatted real quick and exchanged numbers, and we were just like, I asked him, I'm like, how was your day? And like he's like, yeah, it's my birthday today, and we met on his birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, it was my birthday.
That's right. Yeah.
And then me being stupid, I was like, oh, like I didn't get a birthday kiss, like just being stupid to see what he would like say or whatever. I was like, I didn't get a birthday kiss, and he's like, oh, it's your birthday, and I was like, yeah. So then we kissed, and then we had to exchange numbers, and then we texted all night, all day the next day, and he's like, well, I want to take you out for your birthday. So he drove out to Rancho, where I live, picked up myself
Rancho Cucamonga.
Yeah.
30 to 40 minutes away.
Drove from El
From
Monte
Monte.
to go pick me up and my best friend. And then drove out to WeHo, and we went to a lesbian bar because my best friend at the time, well, she's a lesbian, so we're like, well, let's go to the Robinson. I'd never been.
Okay.
And then that night we were just like dancing, buying drinks, talking, getting to know each other. And then that night we
Shit
just
got deep.
We just like made it official, like, hey, let's be boyfriends. And we've been together 3.5 years. It'll be 4 years this summer.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Has it already been 3.5 years?
Yeah, it went by fast.
Yeah, seriously,
August
because
11th.
Yeah.
I remember
11th,
hanging out
yeah,
with you a couple times before him,
Yeah.
but it was literally like
Yeah,
we
you know,
like
I was
you and
actually
I.
gonna mention. I remember you were like a familiar face, like friend of a friend, and we
Yeah.
never really talked that much throughout like high school. I think even like
No, yeah, we didn't. It was well, my ex-girlfriend. It was Eileen. That was
yeah,
because she was your friend.
yeah.
So whenever her and I would hang out, you would
that's right,
you
that's
like
right.
because I know you'd hung out at Soto's and Leo's
yeah,
a couple times. I think that's where I've seen you. And then you worked at Wetzel's Pretzels, which was right across the from Vans.
yeah, yeah.
And
worked there for
which is where I worked.
way too long is right.
Yeah.
How long I worked there.
But no, I think you and I started hanging out when you went over to Angel's house.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where I feel like me and you got more acquainted.
pretty much.
And then it was literally like I saw you, like it was one weekend we hung out and it was just you, and then the next weekend, you showed up, and I was
Yeah,
just
'cause
like,
I remember you too. You had like super long hair at the time.
yeah,
It was
exactly,
really long.
yeah.
It was like a lot longer. Yeah.
That was when. See if that was 3.5 years ago. That was when it was already like a year that
I think
it
you were
had
like
been
18,
growing out.
19 at the time. Because I remember I think I asked you how old you were, and you were like, oh, I'm like 18, 19. I'm like, damn, I feel old.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I think I was 19.
Yeah, I think you were.
Yeah, I think I was 19 because I'm turning 23. So
Yeah.
it would be 19 that when we had met. Oh, sorry. But
Little taste for the audience.
yeah, exactly.
the
Taste
beer.
that hazelnut. But no, yeah. Like it was just such a. It was awesome. Like it was.
It almost felt
yeah,
like
it was instantaneous, pretty much. Like,
Yeah.
and then now I'm just real baffled at the whole fact that it's really been 3.5 years. Like it feels so much shorter than that. Like it seriously only feels like a year ago that I've seen you guys together for the first time, and it's like
it's already been. Yeah, you saw us from like the fresh couple to like now seasoned.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. You know, and honestly, I still feel like it hasn't really changed. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I feel like you guys are
We
in love
clicked-
with
just
each other
clicked
as
very
much as
well.
exactly. You know, like it's you can tell that there's really good chemistry right there.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, dude, definitely. But let's kind of move on. What happened on the later dates where? Because you said that you had some shit go on at Rage. What was that like? You experiencing that?
Oh,
This was probably
the
like within the
incidents
first
at Rage,
year.
yeah.
This is like the first year that we were together, and I was going with all of our friends and met up with other friends there, and just a whole group of people. And then next thing you know, one of my friends is arguing. We went on what they call Game Boy night at Rage, which is
enlighten
I know.
the straight.
which is,
Game Boy night?
Enlighten the
which
straight
is game
listeners.
What we call Game Boy night. It's Asian night.
It's slightly racist.
Slightly racist. It's Asian
Game
night.
Boy. It's like, and not just any Asians, but
man.
like more like twink Asian.
You know how subtle that is, though. Like,
Yeah, we're going
you
on
can either
Game
like,
Boy night.
Yeah, if you're at a predominantly straight bar and they have a gay night, it's literally called gay night. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were to say that at a straight bar,
No,
I'm
like,
it's
gay
Game Boy
bars
night,
have
everyone's gonna bring
different
their fucking
categories
Game Boys.
in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's so
it was
it's
Game Boy
night.
night. So my friend's arguing with this Asian guy, and me with my friends, like, it's
You know
probably the dumb thing too.
I think he was heated up too, because what added to that same night was like we were dancing, having a good time, and I think that was the night where there was this like
This other,
older Asian guy
mess.
who was pretty drunk, and like I guess he didn't see that I was with him, and he came up and just did like this spin around in front of me and twirled and ran his finger like from my chest down and like gave me the up and down look, and I'm like,
he was trying to put the moves
"Whoa."
on
And
you.
then Jesse just comes in and like he just like shrugs his shoulder off to the right, and he just like does like the nod.
Yeah, I was like, you
He's
need
like,
to move.
no,
Yeah.
no, like step back. because he was
there you
ready.
go.
So
Claim your territory. Good job,
Pretty
Jesse.
much, yeah.
So I think that kind of heated up to lead to eventually what he was saying.
Yeah.
See, at that point, they were just like, all right, these motherfuckers, they want to.
Yeah,
They want to get into shit.
Well,
They
the
wanna
thing is,
get
he
into
even
shit.
came back a second time, and we were watching. There was a drag show.
I was afraid for his
going on at
life
the
when he
time.
came back the second time.
And so we're standing there, and like my best friend's to my right, and his boyfriend's on his right, and then so like I'm in the middle, and then Frank's to my left, and he's standing on the far side of Frank. So I'm like looking at him, and I'm like, this fool just really came back.
Yeah.
So I looked at my best friend, and I'm like, do I hit him? And he's like, bitch, go for it. And I told Frank, can you step back? And he's like, no, don't. And I'm like, move. And then I think that guy's friends noticed that I was like getting ready to hit him, and then they like came and
rescued him.
They
pretty much.
rescued him.
he was
He was
His
too
life
little.
was
I
in
didn't want
danger.
him to get in a fight with him because he clearly would have.
I don't think I would have beat him up. I think I would just have hit him one time and he would have been good. Like
He was fragile. Is what it
He
looked
would have
like.
gotten hurt.
yeah, I would
pretty
have just
bad.
checked him one
Yeah.
time and it would have been
Yeah.
done show.
Yeah.
So eventually, later on in the night, I guess, turns out someone was talking shit about one of your buddies. You
Yeah, my friend, like, I don't know, he was arguing with somebody, and the next thing you know, like, they're like pushing, shoving, and then everyone just starts, like, they start fighting, like fist fighting, and then somebody else jumps in. So of course I jump in, beat the shit out of this guy, like swing. I throw a wine glass across the room. I don't even know how I had a wine glass in my hand, but that shattered and hit the wall. So we got thrown out, and then I see the guy who I beat up like getting carried out because he's like so like
was done.
disoriented.
Yeah.
And then his friend's like, "You need to go say sorry to my friend." And I just looked at him and I was like, "You need to get the fuck out of my face, otherwise you're gonna end up just like your friend." He just like walked away.
Yeah.
And then we got kicked out for
go figure. The person that he fucked up was one of the promoters of the night of the game.
Really?
Boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So they remembered me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
we
a
were
year
banned.
later, we tried to go back, and they were like, "Oh no,
No.
You can't come in." I'm
Yeah.
like,
We were banned for a year, right?
"Yeah."
Yeah, for a year.
Really?
Yeah,
They
for
actually
a
banned
year.
you for a year?
I
Yeah.
think that's like the second.
And
time
I don't
I've
even
been
know how
banned
they
for.
recognize us because like we tried like fucking going disguised, like, are you, they just wear your hair like this?
Like my
Yeah.
hair
I'm
was
gonna wear my
darker
hair
too.
like this.
Yeah.
They won't recognize us, but fucking shit,
They
remember.
They
it.
had your
recognized
pictures.
me.
That's what it was. They were
Probably.
just like,
I think
yeah.
that's what it was. Cause I'm
Video
like,
footage.
fuck, you guys
Yeah,
actually
I
caught
know,
that.
right?
Don't let this bitch in.
Yeah.
Now, okay, when you say gay fight, like it is not. I mean, they're seriously just men fighting still.
It's
like
the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
Yeah.
fight like no girl. I don't
Yeah,
pull no
no,
one's hair.
it's
pull,
like-
no,
literally-
pull hair. I feel like I feel like gay fights are a little more dangerous too. Like,
in a sense, they are because like it's more like emotionally driven.
yeah,
So like it's like as opposed to a lot of male fights, it's testosterone driven, and eventually someone's gonna get knocked out probably. In a fight like that, it's still a fight, but it can go a little more south because it'll be more like emotional, and
Yeah.
they may not knock you out, but your teeth are gonna be off by the end of the fight or something.
awesome.
Especially
I
if
love
you
that.
don't stop.
yeah, they don't stop. Yeah, that's fucking.
See
crazy.
that? I mean, that's fucking badass. That's,
Yeah.
to me, that's fucking tough. You know, like,
Yeah.
I don't know why there's such.
Stigma?
There's like stigma and everything, and it's like, dude, come on, it's 2016 now. You know why we don't need the stigma anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's human. Everybody's a different person. Everybody gets angry. Everybody feels
Yeah.
sad. Everybody cries. It's not.
Yeah. I mean,
There's really not much difference. I mean,
I'm just hoping and waiting until everyone can just evolve and get over it.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, I've already seen this reference several times, and I would think it's similar to now. Like, we're going to look back, and like, we look back at the time when civil rights movements. I was like, really? Based off the color of your skin, you really are dwindled down to like, not like being considered equal.
Mm-hmm.
And now when we look back into it, it's like, that was it. That was an
that
issue.
was an
Like,
issue.
it's such a normal thing now.
And you know,
that's
like-
exactly what I feel like is going to come down to the gay community. Like, eventually, everyone's gonna feel stupid and look back and be like, "Why the fuck was this even an issue?" Like,
you know, I mean, totally. Like you're completely 100% right, but there's still people out there that are just like,
yeah,
you know, you're black. I don't want you to touch my car. You know, you're Mexican.
Yeah, I
I
know
don't
there
trust
is
you with
still
my
that.
keys.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, like it's,
I mean, Donald
and
Trump
that's-
has made that abundantly clear.
exactly.
He's made all the racists like come out of their little caves and
Yeah,
fucking-
exactly. Yeah, definitely. Dude, and people had the seriously fucking balls to try to have a KKK rally.
oh,
Like,
yeah.
are you? You heard about that, right? In Anaheim, I think it was.
No.
No,
I didn't hear about it.
In Anaheim, they tried holding a
KKK rally.
that
Yeah.
shit don't swing in Southern
Dude,
California.
It did
Not at all.
not. It started. It went on for 10 minutes.
Please
and
tell me
then
someone got
stopped,
stabbed.
dude. Yes, actually, but it was a Mexican guy that got stabbed.
Damn.
Aw.
But
Ironically,
I mean,
it was
I
the
was
Mexican
right.
guy that got stabbed.
I was right.
We're just
but
walking
yeah.
by.
I was hoping to be wrong, but in general,
No, yeah. Someone did get
Shit.
stabbed, but it was the Mexican dude. But dude, they got their asses beat though,
Okay.
to the point to where someone had to pull a knife and stab somebody.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
as it should, like,
Yeah, and you know, like, and I feel like there are still people that are going to be like that, towards the gay community, especially.
Yeah.
And dude, do you know how many closeted fucking people there are in the
Yeah.
church itself too? Like just the church alone, dude. Like
Yeah.
look at all those fucking fucked up priests, touching
Ooh,
little boys and shit.
Which is a
dude.
topic I wanted to touch on about relating transgender bathrooms because, I mean,
Okay, all right, yeah.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
then let's
We'll
put it.
correlate
Yeah,
it.
let's
We'll
put a
correlate
pin
it.
in that. Let's put a pin in it right now.
yeah, put a pin in it.
So everybody, if you did not know this, a lot of people don't know this. Jesse, you did drag for how many years now?
I started doing drag when I was probably 22, 23. So
Give like a year reference.
no, maybe like 21. Like I think I started in like 2006. I believe 2007 is I think when I started doing drag.
Okay, so almost 10 years then. It was when you first did it.
And I was performing like at clubs, house parties, what we used to call back in the day were tea parties.
Tea parties.
And these were gay party crews. So just like the straight people had like their party crews.
Oh yeah, you remember party crew days? Remember?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay,
Tea
so
parties are the gay version of that.
So
exactly.
we had
That's
our
awesome.
same party crews, but they were predominantly gay people and lesbians, and everyone had their own.
What are some of the names, just if you remember? Because they're
Yeah.
interesting
Well,
ones.
I remember my crew. We were called Sick Boys, and I was the first lady because I was the only drag queen, so I was one of the first ladies of Sick Boys. Some of my like closest friends that are lesbians, they were called Famous Studs. Those bitches are crazy. So,
Dude, these are straight up homeboy names too.
Yeah.
Like you, like
So,
if
like,
I was
you
on the
wouldn't-
street and they're like, "Dog, the sick boys are coming," I'd be like, "Dude, I gotta get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, man. The studs.
there
are-
was like Cali Boys, Pretty Boys. There was there were some bitches from Long Beach too that were like pretty crazy too. Like people that were from like LA, Long Beach, their crews are really like really
They roll
feisty.
deep.
They roll deep, and I was one of those crews that like we rolled deep. And then one of my friends, he was from Long Beach, so all of the Long Beach crews like rolled with us. So it was like we were crews within crews. So it was like our crew and their crew made one massive crew, but we were still two separate crews, but we like got along.
And what kind? Okay, so these were predominantly gay parties. What did that consist of? Like, was it? Would you?
normal party, really?
Just a big party, like you,
Oh, okay.
like you know, like that,
almost literally
that
like probably what we would see. Like you're that weird person with the tank of Nas, maybe.
Yep.
The bar area. I guess I think the only difference was the music. I would
And we had
assume-
performers, which the drag queens performed.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
yeah, that's
So
what I meant. Was like,
yeah,
did you
there you
guys
go.
have performers? Too?
Yeah, so like most of the drag queens would perform, like we'd have flyers and stuff like that. So whichever crew was throwing the party, like if it was a Sick Boy party, we'd have our flyer go out for that that week. Like this weekend, Sick Boys party. I would host it, announce all the drag queens that perform, and I'd pick people like that wanted to perform, and I'd put them on like the flyer. So that way, like people know, like
a little
that-
more
that-
legit, if anything.
yeah,
than-
that
they-
is really legit.
It-
Seriously.
Well, we're
The
gay,
best-
so we gotta have some kind of
Yeah,
like
they
we put
they
this
really-
shit together like it's a production.
Not
It's
over here.
just like
The
Yeah.
fucking El
bring,
Monte
just bring a cake.
backyard crew
Yeah.
parties was just like, hey, we got
Hey, I
two
know,
tanks
we
of
got
Nas,
2 tanks of Nas,
fucking
beer pong,
cake,
Jello shots,
kegs.
$2 cake stands.
Yeah. I think a lot of it too was a lot of us liked watching each other perform, like the drag queens. That was like a big thing. It was like, all right, we're gonna shut the
Telling you, man,
performance,
sense of community.
and it was
Just be
like
yourself,
one
just
big
fucking
circle
big
around
party.
one drag queen performing. So
Oh wow, that's that's pretty cool.
yeah.
Like,
But that was just at the parties. Then you started doing.
Then I was, at the time I was also like performing at the clubs. So I would like.
okay, so then take me through like the club scene. How was that, compared to the parties? Like, what was the real difference between the two?
Well, when I started, it's a lot different than now. But back then, it was more like everyone was like friends with each other. It wasn't that big of a deal. Like there was still drama between some of the queens, but it was fun. Like I like to perform, and a lot of the times like I had people that didn't like me, but I really didn't care because, and I was known for the queen that got into fights. So like
that was your rep, huh?
Yeah. So even now, starting all over again, because I haven't performed in like 5-6 years. I just started performing in April. So it's like even now when
some of those queens that he used to perform with still, like I mean he's back in the game, but they've been still doing it.
They've been doing it since
they've been
then,
doing it. So it's like
coming back into the game. You know?
Now I'm like having to revamp myself and start all over from scratch. But it's like me 2.0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's gotten a little more organized though.
Yeah, it's a lot more organized. There's not. It's a lot more professional because now it's like. You don't just perform like for a competition. Sometimes they're actually booked gigs where they pay you to perform.
Yeah.
So you have to be professional. You have to be able to get along with other queens. You can't have drama because if you're going to be drama, no one's going to ever book you anywhere.
Yeah.
Real quick on that note, which I just found out like a couple of weeks ago now that he's been recently re-performing, certain bars now, like they actually hire drag queens and they're like on payroll, like fucking
to show like their regulars.
Yeah, they get taxed on their check. They're supposed to clock in, they clock out.
Wow.
And
just like a regular bartender that goes.
Yeah, and they're considered cast members.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So they can
crazy.
Yeah. So I'm starting all over again. So me now, like, you know, I have a real job. I work at the bank. So it's like I'm not trying to perform 3-4 days out of the week, maybe once, twice a month, on like a Friday or Saturday. And if I can get paid, cool. If not, I'm still gonna perform because it's fun.
Okay. Being able to see it from my perspective, I feel like it really is like an art form. Like,
yeah,
it's just like it's artistic. It's like a way to vent, like just outside the norm. Just like being tired of just everyday fucking normality. Just like I want to be this character, and I'm gonna be this person, and I'm gonna perform and show everyone like a show.
Then take me through like the early days. What was when you first performed? Was there any like backlash to it or anything? Like
there
wasn't
a lot of backlash. It was more like the fishier you can look, and the term fishy means the more feminine and girly you look.
Okay.
So I was one of those fishy queens where I didn't like to look crazy. I didn't like to wear like crazy big outfits. It was like it was okay to wear like a Forever 21 dress on stage and have a nice wig, and you were like and you were like the shit. Okay. So now it's like since RuPaul's Drag Race started, it's like if your outfit's not custom made or like some designer gown and you didn't spend 7 hours to get ready that day, you're pretty much not worthy of even being on stage.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I think he had mentioned that there's so many more people trying to do drag. Yeah, it's kind of like, I guess, quote unquote, cornered the market in a sense where like now if you want to do drag, you kind of have to come out strong or just like you're gonna kind of look
like RuPaul's Drag Race has definitely upped like the look and performance wise of like drag queens that come out now, but there's still those underground drag queens that are starting from scratch that do their own thing, and those are the ones that I commend. Like,
yeah, I'm sure there are. That's just like
there's been like the few shows that I've done. There's been queens that I've performed with, which one of them who I recently met, she's actually a female who does drag. So she's called a bio queen. So she's a biological girl that does drag.
How does that work?
Well,
it's relatively new, I guess. Or not new.
I don't think it's new, but I think for her, I think it's something that she's definitely trying to like create almost, and kind of like make a name for herself, which I commend her for that. She's such a sweetheart. Her name is Bombshell, and so when I was in the back with her, like we were getting dressed and like that, she told me that she's signed up for clubs and stuff like that, and like she sends her picture of like what she looks like, because you like when you want to get booked, you kind of like send all your like your resume, your picture, videos, and they booked her, and then she goes and she shows up, and they see that she's a real girl, and they don't let her perform. Like they make her leave.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm like,
I know. I was gonna say,
like you would think within
it was
the drag community.
Yeah, isn't the whole point of a drag race to look like a girl though?
But the thing is, she still does drag makeup. Like she doesn't just like go out there and, like with her hair curled. Like she wears her outfits are custom made. Like I think she does her hair like really crazy. She wears hair pieces. She wears wigs. She does her makeup like every other drag queen.
Yeah. honestly, like kind of ties back to like the whole like drag being like an art form in a sense.
Okay.
Because like it part of it is to
try
to look like a female, but what I've noticed is like a lot of the drag queens now that I've seen perform, it's not just a female, but a female character. Like they're embodying, like you have to have a voice, an attitude, how that drag queen is gonna come across. She's a feisty drag queen who cusses a lot or something, or she's like the cutesy drag queen who's really bubbly and has like a funny or she's a jokester, you know. So like I feel like what she was trying to do is like exaggerate, you know, who she is, and I feel like I would commend her for that as well. I mean, I think that's
because she's still a character. Like when she's on stage, she's not like herself. Like when she's talking to us in the back. Like I've watched some of her videos of her performances. She's somebody completely different when she's out there as BB Bombshell, which is her persona.
So explain really quickly, what is the difference between drag makeup and regular makeup? Because really it is an art form, you know.
Yeah.
Like where do you draw the line between drag makeup and regular makeup for, you know, a girl?
Drag makeup is so extreme. Like it can be from something so subtle to something being like super.
I've noticed that a lot of the drag queens you want to like, since a lot of the drag is like lip syncing as well. Mm-hmm. So one of the key things I've noticed is
to
like
exaggerate your lips.
So
you draw beyond the.
I mean, I know that's a common thing for some girls that do their makeup.
Yeah,
but like it's almost like a necessity because you need those big lips so that when they're lip syncing, it moves more. You can see more of the movements of.
Okay,
it definitely takes a lot more makeup to cover a man's face. Like even after shaving, I still have like that 5 o'clock shadow. I have thick like facial hair, so for me, I have to put on a lot of makeup,
layering it and everything.
Layering.
Yeah.
So it honestly
a lot of layers.
It depends on the person and how they do their makeup. Everyone does their makeup different. So I mean, even the shows that I've been to, not like someone doesn't do their makeup like I do it.
For me,
so
like I did not understand that. Like because my Amanda, my girlfriend, she watches RuPaul's Drag Race and everything, and she looks up drag and everything.
Yeah, we've had
long
conversations about Drag Race when we hung out. So
I could not get it. Like it was just so odd to me. Like I was just like, I thought these guys wanted to look like girls. Like they're just layering it on there. Like
It's like past the point of like, you kind of look like a girl. Now you're just getting into like a character is kind of what it is.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
See,
it is characters. It's not always trying to look like a girl, because if you're trying to look like a girl, it's going to be a little more soft. But if you're just putting on this crazy persona, you're going to do whatever you want to do to your face
like
to make
huge
it look
eyelashes that are just too big, so much like eyeshadowing and like eyeline, like you know, really blowing.
Is there a drag like
drag king? I think that's what they're looking like.
No.
Girls that dress up as men.
Well, that I was actually going to ask that later, but no. Actually, what I was going to ask right now, because on the topic of it being an art form and everything, is there an actual musical or something like a Broadway production of drag?
I don't really keep up with
seen.
plays and things like that, so I wouldn't know.
See,
personally,
because I'm a visionary guy. Like,
like Hairspray,
kind of like
actually a great.
If you think about it,
though,
like
you might have something right there. Bro.
Yeah, see, there you go.
If you think about it, drag's been going on since like early years, like back in like the day when we had like plays before movies, when they were doing plays in theater. A lot of the like even like female roles were played by men. Some of the male roles were played by females.
That was actually mostly a sexist thing, but
and that's where the term drag queens came from.
Which is kind of
started.
Full circle.
Yeah, it really is a full circle though, because if you think about it, it was like, oh, women can't be in production, so I'm gonna dress up, as a woman and become this character.
Yeah,
and it's like now, like it's grown out of its sexism and everything, like it's become an actual.
There might even be a historical link for all we know.
Exactly,
with this whole,
totally.
I mean, it would make sense, like logically, like this, like the theater community that would be willing to do the drag portion and maybe secretly deeply enjoyed it.
That to me, that's like, oh, that's money right there. That's such a great idea. They really should do something like that.
But even like within the drag community, people still like. There's still hate within our own community. Like us as an LGBT community, we want people to accept us, but we don't accept each other. Like I was saying, like my friend who a bio queen, she's not accepted into the drag community fully. And when I was talking to her, I was like, you know, you need to push this so much more and do you, because you're going to make a name for yourself. And if you become the first famous bio queen,
female
bio queen, like that's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's like not everybody thinks that
like
you're,
you said,
you're,
it's all along the category of acceptance, pretty much. You know? Like,
ironically, like too, I was telling Jesse once before that I've noticed that even within the gay community, like he said, there's actually non-acceptance. Like at certain parts, more particularly WeHo, to be honest, we haven't really gone back anymore, and we don't go as often because, to be quite honest, yeah, it's a great place to party and have fun. But in reality, a lot of the gay bars and gay clubs, they actually are. It goes full circle. Like I've been in situations where I'll kind of be cast to the side because I guess I'm not. I guess as feminine, or I guess I'm not as like, oh,
skinny,
like you're
fit.
not gay enough, or I guess in a sense,
Yeah.
like, oh, he's just the straight guy with his gay boyfriend, like who's probably hiding in the closet and kind of just was forced to come.
Oh, okay.
And then so I kind of like I've been in that situation where I'm like I guess I'm not gay
enough.
No, and
which is so odd. You know?
Yeah,
like,
it is. It's odd. Like how, like you yourself as a gay person are trying to be accepted by the community in general already. Where are you to outcast someone that doesn't act how you act? Like the way I act, like I've been told several times when I've come out to my friends, like it's like what, why, like you don't act like it, this and that. It's like I don't know.
It's a surprise, you know. Which for me, that's exactly what happened. You know, like
and I understand that.
Yeah, but I didn't. I wasn't just like, dude. Like it's not like I shunned you out, you know,
No,
or
not at
anything
all.
like that. Yeah, it was just like, oh wow, like I would never have guessed.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
like which again, it's not such. It's
And
not bad at all.
There's a
you
wide
know?
range, a very lost community out there that I'll give a shout out to, which is like the bisexual or open orientation community. Like a lot of people will feel like, oh, like even just the term gay, like that's like you're placed there. Like, oh, you're gay, so you're only like guys, or like, oh, you're a lesbian, you only like girls. Whereas sometimes a person might not necessarily know, or they kind of don't really want to limit themselves to that because they haven't found that right person.
Yeah.
And then so there's those people that are like, oh, well, I'm not gay. I mean, I like guys and I like girls. But then they're like, oh, you're being picky. Oh, you're choosing sides. You're being selfish. You just don't know what, you can't make up your mind. No, like that has nothing to do with making up your mind or not. It's something that's genuine, you know, like not everyone.
Yeah, it's like a preference. Like if you find someone that makes you happy, whether it's female or male, you shouldn't have to be put into a category where like, oh, you're gay, you're straight, you're this way. Like if you just have an open sexuality, then I don't see why.
Which I feel like when you're in drag, that's kind of like you know, the whole middle ground of it all. You know, like
people think you want to be like a tranny, like you're trying to transition to become a woman. Like me doing drag is for fun. It's an art. I like to be in front of people and have fun.
Yeah, that's completely different. Which is a drag queen is not always a tranny, and vice versa. You know, those are two different things. You know, like
and sometimes you know, like you know, back in the day, it was. We were put into that category where like, oh, if you're a drag, like, or if you do drag, like you want to be a girl, like you're trying to transition, or you know, you're a tranny.
So then let me ask you, when you were doing drag those early years, did you get that a lot, like from outside perspectives, you know, like when you told people or when people found out or whatever, did you get a lot of like, oh, so you want to be a girl then? Or
I got asked that a couple times by certain, like even like friends or like family, just because they didn't know. But then when I explained it to them, like, you know, what it is and what I do, then they understand, you know, because I have friends like that, like back in the day, that are transgender and they still do drag, but they are transitioning. But when they're on stage, they're a drag queen because they're impersonating a female. That's what they're doing. They're performing in a drag show.
Yeah. And, you know, I feel like I mean, I just have to say it again. Like, it's an art form. It really is. It's a whole different category of our society now. Like, it's not, you know, and who knows how far back, you know, it really goes. Because, like we said, you know, there could be a whole historical connection between males performing as women into doing drag today.
Yeah.
And, And I'm learning a lot today already. Like, like I never really quite understood it, but now I feel like it's really just a way to express yourself. Like you said, it's a way to blow off steam or to just vent and let people know exactly how you feel.
What I like to kind of connect it to, I mean, it's a different type of performance, but like a musical performance, like when you and your friends make a band, you guys are creating art, you guys are making music that you want to share with other people. Drag queens are creating a persona, a character that they want to present to the crowd and entertain a crowd and, just show them a good time, that they can be a good time. Yeah. I mean, a band wants to do that, no? Am I not wrong? Like, don't you want to create badass songs, have the fucking pit going? You want people to have a good time. Each place is going to have their own definition of a good time. But the overall arcing kind of, theme is like performer, artist, doing it for like a fan base for people, not just for themselves, but for people too,
So when creating your character, then first of all, how did you come up with your character? Who is your character and how did that come about?
Well, her name is Orchata.
Love that drink.
Yeah. So not with an H, with an O. It actually started off as, when I started off in drag, I didn't have a drag name. I used to be like, my name's Yesenia, some just Mexican bullshit name that I made up. Like, And then one night, my friends and I, we used to get ready in this little studio apartment, like 15 drag queens, my drag mom, and all of our friends. And so we were just dancing around, drinking, putting on wigs, just being stupid, just letting loose, just having fun. We didn't go out and drag that night. We just wanted to just have, I think it was like a Wednesday night. And my friend was like yelling at just saying stupid names to us, like, oh, like, get it horchata, get it escuela, just being stupid. So then the next night we went to a tea party and I was getting ready in drag, and all my friends were like, get it horchata, like, so they started calling me that. So then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna call myself Horchata Fierce. So that was my drag name for the first 4 or 5
times.
Yeah,
fierce.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm like,
totally
so I'm like, that's my drag name. And then, so then I stopped doing drag, or stopped performing. I still do drag probably like every year, like Halloween, go to the club and drag.
Why did you stop drag? Like, what was that a decision that you're just like, I'm not going to do this right now?
I stopped performing. Well, one, because the main club that I used to perform at all the time closed. And then my friends and I, everyone kind of like we all just like spread apart, and everyone like went their different ways, and everyone lost touch. I started growing up. And I'm like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. Like, there's no money in it. Because back then, this was before.
Yeah, but this was before you could even be called a cast member and be on payroll.
So it was just like, when I was doing it, I was doing a competition night. So, like, if I was on stage, it was because I was in a competition, not because I was getting paid to be there or because I was doing it for fun. So it was more like I had to, like, beat other people. So that's where the competition and being feisty with everybody came into play, because it was like, oh, well, you suck because you did this, or, oh, well, you suck because your song was lame and, like, nobody liked it.
Your dress was looking terrible. Or
something.
Like
your eyebrows were cracking because you didn't put enough glue on your face to glue your eyebrows
those
down.
were literally fighting words. And
back then it was like, oh, you to them that I had a dry ass wig, like, that was fighting words right there.
That's so.
See, like, the straight dudes will like they'll be like, what's up, fool, and they'll push back and forth after a little bit. Not here. Like, you say the wrong statement and then they get too close. There's literally instant swinging. There's no push back and forth bullshit.
I was never the argument person. Like, if you wanted to sit there and say some things to me, that's fine. You can say that, but that was all you were gonna say, and I wasn't gonna say anything back to you.
He would let them
I was
finish,
just gonna hit you,
and then he would just swing.
Like, that's fine. You can finish what you're gonna say, but I'm gonna finish the entire thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish the situation.
Exactly. And then it was like, so now it's like coming out again. Now I'm just Horchata. I dropped the Fierce because I'm like, that was a little like high schoolish to me.
The young,
like, it was like the young, like, crazy me. So I'm like, now she's just Horchata. She's like trying to like mature herself, not really get into the cattiness. I mean, it's always gonna be there, but it's like now just not letting like stupid comments like get to me.
Okay.
So it's definitely like I've grown up, because even the last time that I was at a show, there was another drag queen that didn't like somebody else that was there, and they were like, I want to fight them, blah, blah, blah.
I know, drama's already started by the second show and him coming back.
So I'm like, damn, this just reminded me of like when I was, when I used to be like that person. Like, someone was pissing me off in the club and I would just go fight. And I like sat in the back and I told them, like, do you really want this to be part of your reputation. Like, if you get into this fight, whether they started it or they're talking shit about you, like, you're going to be known as the person who gets into a fight. You're going to try to go to another club, and this fight's going to follow you. And someone else who doesn't like you or who is there is going to be like, oh, well, last time I was at this club, and they got into a fight with this person over nothing. Now you have a bad reputation that's going to follow you everywhere, and no one's going to book you. You're not going to make money. So it's stupid. Like, unless they're in your face and you have to defend yourself, that's different. A good move. I mean, but if you're gonna go find them, like,
if you're gonna seek the
like, they were looking
the confrontation and everything.
Yeah, no, and like he was saying, like, now, I mean, not only has he just naturally matured too, but it just so happens that it's easy for him to avoid drama, because, I mean, like he was saying, if you cause drama now, how strict and like how much farther drag has evolved. I mean, if you're that fighting type, no one's gonna want to book you.
It's not that big of a community.
Just like
either.
anybody, just like nobody wants to like.
Everybody knows everybody, and right now, like, there's a lot of, I'll be 29 this summer, so like a lot of the drag queens that are coming out right now, they're young, they're babies still. They're like just turning 21. They've been doing drag since they were 16,
barely
17.
getting into the whole alcohol and club
so
scene.
It's like they're the ones that kind of are like the catty ones, and I'm like one of the older queens, so it's like I kind of have to give my like life advice. But it's fun because I get to see all these new queens that have like new talent or bringing something completely different to the clubs, and then I also still see like my old friends that are still performing, that are still there. So it's nice when I see them.
What usually consists in a drag race? What are the events or categories, or like what?
Like in a competition?
Yeah. What makes it a competition? Like, what are you competing doing? Like, what are you doing?
Well, the last one that I did, it's really just based on your performance. Like,
it's a lip sync battle.
Yeah, it's a lip sync battle. So
usually that's how it's like. It's a setup.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like that's pretty much the competition. Like the big confrontation between drags is who can lip sync
like
better.
A whole structure thing.
But you know what though? It's not just lip syncing, because there is drag queens that do comedy, that do stand up comedy, and they'll stand up there and do a whole like 5-minute skit. There's people who sing
live singing.
That sing live.
For the finals that he was at, someone did did a Prince.
Actually,
Oh wow!
Yeah,
and
one of the girls
live.
who actually won finals. I mean, she was amazing. She sang live. She sang "Purple Rain" live.
Oh,
so it's
in like full drag, like purple with the like faux hawk. Like, it was just
like her outfit was just amazing in general.
She really embraced the character.
She deserved. She was definitely deserving of the win.
She put complete like work into telling a full story, not even just by her singing, by her makeup, her outfit, her hair. Like, her whole look was a story of Purple Rain, and then she sang live. So
wow.
Yeah, and
then like again, like I didn't really get it.
Yeah, there's like a whole setup. Like, you'll have like the host of the show come out, get everyone warmed up. There's like, I guess now, rules, like, the whole typical like introduction of all the queens. You want to tip. Just have a good time, cheer, just cheer, because, it's just like in any other situation. You're up on stage. You want to hear people cheering. You don't really feel much of the energy. You can't really give it back. So it's kind of like more cheers, and the more comfortable you feel. Because I remember when I would play in my band, like, the more people that I would see rocking their heads, or like starting to, like, what would really get me going is like, if I got a pit started, that would be great. Because once people started pitting, I started getting this like comfortableness of performing, because I was just nervous as fuck when I would perform. I'm the drummer. I'm like dead center. Everyone's like, like, if
you fuck up, then everyone's gonna hear it.
Up.
Yeah.
So I was pretty fucking nervous. But whenever I'd see the people just pitting, just rocking out, really enjoying themselves, and like I would just be able to perform better.
You'd feed off of it.
I would feed off of it. Yeah, just exactly like how any other drag performance goes, and it's awesome. Like they go around. It's like a whole like most of the way the competitions work is like, quick example: 5 queens will all take their turn. They'll go up. They'll lip sync to one of their songs with the costume theme of the song, and just like have their own performance. And then the judges will kind of, tally up and see who they think really gave it their 100, and, go from there. It's pretty neat.
All right. Well, earlier you guys said that there's a difference between being trans and drag.
Yeah.
Where does that line where does that line get crossed or anything?
It's kind of like a gray area at times.
Well, no, I think it actually ties back to how you said wanting to look like a girl and be a character versus genuinely and emotionally feeling like you should have been a female. Okay. So it's one is a persona, a character, and an art form in a sense where you optionally do it. Whereas I feel, I mean, as personal opinion, I don't, I know some transgender, but not as much as Jesse does. But transgender is when you feel like you maybe weren't necessarily born how you feel like you should be.
Yeah.
Would you say he's right?
Yeah.
Do you think I'm right? I don't know.
No, yeah. Like, it's like if you feel like you were born in the wrong body, like that's, being transgender. Like you physically, emotionally feel like you're not that person that you were born. Like you feel like you're either female or male. And with drag, it's like you're putting on a character, a persona, whether you're doing female impersonation or you're doing drag king, which is what females do, and they impersonate men,
which has been getting popular real quick. The drag kings.
Drag kings.
Yeah,
there's not very many of them, but the ones that there are,
I've been seeing
around
a little more often.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it's kind of a fine line, but I think that's probably the best way to sum it up. Like one's
emotionally, one's wants to just put on the persona.
So then, then now getting into the whole the bathroom situation and everything, how do you think they feel when they can't go somewhere where they feel comfortable in?
I feel like just recently it became an issue, and I was telling Frank before we got here, I feel like it's kind of got blown up when Caitlyn Jenner transitioned, and
definitely, I feel like definitely that's when it all kind of,
because it was never an issue before.
It wasn't.
Like if you went into the restroom and there was a transgender male in there, you wouldn't know. Yeah, he went into the stall or he's standing there. Like you would not know. Just like before, like transition.
Which I've been, I have gone to, been in Hollywood or gone to a show or anything where I walk into the bathroom and then there's this from the back looks like a woman, but then standing at the urinal and hearing the pee stream and everything. It's like,
you're like, yeah, that's the dude.
Yeah.
That might be a drag queen, but either way, it's the same thing. Like transgendered people have never been outed like this. Like they were in, hiding it's where they just went to the restrooms that they felt comfortable going into, but now it's being put out there that it's this big issue.
It boggles my mind because literally a lot of other issues that get brought up on the media, even on social networking, online, quote unquote mainstream media, which I've really just lost almost complete respect for after the elections, because it's blatantly obvious that mainstream media is pretty much catered to show you exactly what they want to show you.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I just feel like the only reason why it was even brought up, of all other issues, something happens and then people notice and then we need to take action. Kid falls into a gorilla entrapment, gorilla gets killed. Oh, animal rights activists come out. Okay, yeah, something triggered it. Literally, this topic of restroom, started over apparently someone making a statement, or Target, I believe, re-released their bathroom policies.
Yeah,
and nothing happened. And if you look into it, I think there might have been one incident in the past 6 years of anyone claiming to use being transgender and being caught in a restroom and prosecuted and I was pretending to be a woman because I was transgender, but then they were trying to actually do something. But there's never been an official report. Nothing happened to trigger this. It was just someone made a statement and then people started thinking about it.
Because that's really what the big issue is that people don't want males going into women's restrooms because they feel like that person's going to try to rape somebody or try to get away with peeping on somebody. And,
But it's why is it an issue now? Because even before this became an issue, any man could have just walked into the restroom anyways.
You've had guys who weren't in drag or dressed up just walking in there and chilling.
When I was in drag, I've walked into the girl restroom to use it only because I was in drag.
Yeah.
But it's half the time it's
And at the gay clubs, it wasn't a big deal which restroom you really went into.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like now, if I were to be in drag and go to Target or even like Walmart, I probably wouldn't be able to go into a women's restroom.
No, well, Target, they're actually allowing you.
Yeah,
to, like,
yeah.
Target,
was
yes,
actually
like if I were to go to any other,
that was actually the
restaurant,
reason why people started flipping out. It's like, but transgender people have been going to the restroom their entire lives.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing has changed. Nothing has happened. You know, I'd understand if like, oh well, what about all these reports of like males posing as females going into female restrooms? You show me all the cases and I'll reconsider. See, I'm not that type of person that I'm going to stick to like what I believe in.
Yeah.
And even when I hear the facts, I'm going to shut it out because I still think I'm right. If I find out that I'm wrong, that's awesome. Like I actually enjoy being wrong because I feel like if I don't,
that's how you learn.
That's how you learn. Like I hate when people just want to be right. It's like just own up to like not knowing shit. And, you know, you know nothing about transgenders and how they would go to the restroom. And now you're trying to say like, oh, what the fuck? Why are guys going into girls' restrooms? Like, no, like that's stupid. Like, no, you know, do some studies and like look into it. Is it really an issue, or are you just looking online at an article and you just read the title of the article and you don't even fucking click the link and now you just leave a comment saying, oh, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, which I know a lot of fucking people out there do. Like they read the headline, fucking leave a comment, and you didn't even bother opening the fucking article. You just want to leave your 2 cents without even knowing what you're talking about. And I also hate the fact that it's like no one gives a fuck about the other way around at all. Like, oh, like what about a male transitioning? I mean, a female that's been transitioning to a male. Oh, what if a female just poses as a male to go into the women's restroom and try to rape women? Or I'm sorry, the other way around. But it's like,
which women do rape men.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes, there is.
Yeah, women do rape men.
Yes. Yeah. So
there's I mean, not as many, but there are some cases where women are more dominant of men.
It's just stupid how it's only been looked at one way around as like the male dressing as a female. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to a female that's been transitioning to a male going into a male's restroom, what? Like that's not an issue either. Like it literally is just one way. And like some people might try to argue the whole like, oh well, like it's worse the other way around. That's what you call a fucking double standard.
Yeah, exactly. And so let me get because North Carolina obviously passed their law where whatever your birth certificate is, that's the restroom you have to use. Now,
who goes to the restroom or anywhere with your birth certificate?
Exactly. Like, how would you even be able to?
Is the state going to issue a copy if you lose it when you go to the restroom? What if I accidentally wipe my ass with my birth certificate instead of toilet paper? What happens then? You know?
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
Ridiculous.
It's not
it's causing more issues.
Exactly. You know, and it's issues that really have been solved already for so long. But you know what? Also, another thing
I'm happy
too,
the artists that are dropping those concerts and shit like that. I love hearing that shit. Like artists are not willing to play in North Carolina because of that.
Yeah. And I mean, even then too, my aunt who lives here, she just told me that one night, because she has a friend who does drag, who's actually, I don't know if he's trans, if he wants to be a woman, but I know he dresses up and everything, and he does drag. But he went to the bathroom one time and he said he was just getting all these mean, dirty looks from the women in there.
Yeah.
And he was just like, like it was really uncomfortable for me. And so my aunt asked him like, oh, well, what club was this? What day? Which was a club that he goes to all the time.
Was it a gay club?
I don't think it was a gay club, but she asked him though, like, oh, what night did you go? And he was like, oh, it was hip hop night. And she was like, oh yeah, that's exactly shit. She's like, that's probably why. It's because all the cholas are in there,
and that sucks too. Like nobody stops to think about also like a lot of people try to take the side. It's like, oh, so I swear to God, every time I think of the transgender issue, I think of Maude from The Simpsons. Won't somebody please think of the children? Like that fucking annoying, like, what about the children?
Yeah.
Like, when's the last time you heard of that happening and like that anyone got attacked? None, but what about the children? Someone think of the children. It's like, No,
Yeah,
like,
okay,
but
then
what
why
about,
take your kids to church
Yeah.
then? Think
But
about the children.
what about think about the person that's going to that bathroom that's getting those dirty looks. You know, they're a
Yeah.
person too that's being judged, that already has an issue trying to be accepted in the society. Now we got to throw more shade at them about the fucking
And-
fact that they're going to the restroom.
Yeah, and
like that sucks. Now they have something else to fight against. It's like an
also
issue
the scenario
of
too.
trying
Like,
to go
what
to
if
the
he would have gone
bathroom,
in
you know?
there? What if he would have gone in there and they all got looks, and as soon as he came out, like one of the girls went and told their man or something, and he got beat up?
Exactly.
Like that's not. It's not right. It's just not right as, as being a human being. Like you want to accept people and make them feel comfortable for who they are.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I
it's-
think there's honestly been more cases of like just normal men going to female restrooms that are more secluded as themselves. They still go, there's still creepers out there. There's plenty of news reports out there of men hiding in women's bathrooms at the parks, popping out and like harassing them or even assaulting them.
Yeah.
Like,
And,
it's
like,
not gonna stop. So I don't
It's
think this
not
whole
going to
gender
stop.
issue
It, like just the fact that a
should even be an
transgender
issue.
goes in there, like just the fact that they are a transgender trying to use the bathroom is basically saying they're just going to fucking use the bathroom. They need to take a piss or they need to take a shit. They're going to go in and out, just like everyone who needs to use the restroom.
And I don't know if anybody even realized this. We've had transgender bathrooms our entire lives. If you gone to the beach, have you been
Concerts.
in every,
Say
concerts?
unisex, like,
Yeah, they're all unisex. Like this is not.
Oh, I was thinking of porta potty, but yeah.
well, yeah,
it's
that
the same
too.
thing.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
same
porta
thing.
potty.
Yeah,
It's for everybody. Just because it's one girl goes in there, only girls can go in that porta potty, and it's for everybody. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't see the big deal. Like with this whole transgender restroom issue, like it was never an issue before. It was never brought to anyone's attention up until now.
Yeah, if you're worried about a man in a dress being in a small room with a boy, you would probably think of the church first. More than
yeah,
you
definitely.
would
That's
think
what
of-
That's exactly what comes to my head. Is like, oh, some dude in a gown.
Yeah, a dude in a gown trying to harass a boy. How about the fucking church? They used to
Exactly.
do that all the time. And you know,
There's
now
more
that's just
issues
like
there than the restroom issue.
yeah.
Yeah, there's way more issues there than
Way
the
more
fucking-
incidents of that happening where priest is messing with boys, young boys
Mm-hmm.
at that, and it's like now people can't piss where they please.
Yeah, it's so fucked up, dude. Like that's that pisses me right off. Like I can't believe that this is more of an issue than what's actually happening.
Yeah. And I feel like also, I feel like mainstream media, again, another reason why I've kind of lost a lot of hope is they've perpetuated the situation way more than they really have to. Just like everything, you know, like once you keep hearing it enough times, you might even think it's true, you know, regardless of whether it is or not.
Yeah.
And the fact that the media takes up so much time covering this story start to finish. Ooh, companies that are, you know, what about other fucking issues? You know, like what about companies that aren't even here in the United States that have fucking child laborers working
Yeah, sweatshops,
making pennies at a time. And,
Yeah, and
those
then
are
not only that,
those
our-
are probably the companies that are
our own
complaining.
armed forces too. The people who we rely on to protect the nation are over there fucking murdering dogs, raping their women, molesting their children too as well.
Yeah,
And it's like that. Why aren't any of those issues
yeah.
to the mainstream media? Like it's it's real fucked up.
Yeah,
You know, this whole situation.
It's another
is.
thing. Like they just funnel, like how they want you to perceive certain things. You know, and I feel like it's like their way of. I mean, it's not. It's throwing a lot of shade to the transgender community if you really think about it in retrospect. Like they're a subject of a news matter of transgender trying to find who they are, how comfortable they are in their skin, and now they have the mainstream media now just talking shit and talking down to this community, like as if everyone does it, you know?
And I really do. I do feel that some people who claim to be transgender have probably been their entire life. Like,
And they go to the restroom where they please, and no one's ever said anything to them.
yeah, and
You know, it's like someone, like when you eat it, let's say you eat a fucking a burger, and this burger is bomb as fuck. What is it? Oh, it's rat meat. Oh, fuck.
No, not me.
I'm gonna start throwing up. Now all of a sudden it's disgusting. Well, what the fuck? You didn't know what it was, but you fucking enjoyed it, didn't you? Now just because you heard it, now all of a sudden you don't like it? That's
Dude.
literally the fucking transgender issue.
yeah, really, it seriously is. And I don't know about you, but I love pigs. I'll eat bacon, pork, whatever. And
we just had a ultimate bacon cheeseburger from Jack's before we came.
There you go.
Shit. I mean, if I like it, I mean, some people
but
like horse
actually,
meat.
it's funny though because a lot of people are like that though. Like once they figure out, because who you guys know our friend Danielle. She doesn't eat pork anymore because she she spent time with a little pig, and realized how smart they were and how intelligent we were. So she doesn't eat it anymore.
Okay,
which is completely fine.
Yeah,
I'm
cool with that.
Yeah,
I mean, I respect people's decisions.
And not only that, that's her experience from firsthand, not because she just heard about it or because fucking Morrissey said eating meat is wrong.
She had personal experience.
I fucking met people like that, and I tell them like, are you dumb or something? Like, you have some sort of disability growing up. Wait, but if you really don't have the facts behind it, then don't say anything.
I think totally true.
You have no right to put your input or anything. Which really, that's the whole situation with me right now. Is
even
I didn't really, I had no idea. Like, I had my thoughts and everything, but I didn't express them to you guys or anything because I want to learn about it. I want to hear from people who experience it firsthand and to learn. Basically, I mean, which I feel like I have. I feel like this episode, which is really great. I want to thank you guys for coming on again. This has been an awesome fucking episode. I feel like it was very informative. My listeners who are listening, I hope you did learn a lot. We are getting ready to wrap up. But I just want to thank you guys for coming on. This was a very informative episode, and it was great having you guys.
It's like getting some stuff off my chest.
Exactly.
It was therapeutic. You know?
Yeah.
Which is, I feel like I should thank you for giving me that a compliment because that's what I'm here for. This is what I want to do. I want to get the real facts. I want to get actual inputs and insight from people who live it day to day. Everyday life. So again, I want to thank you guys so much. You've been awesome guests. If you want, you can take this time to let everybody know if you want to get followed or not on Instagram, Twitter, whatever you want.
Follow Horchata, I guess.
Yeah, actually, Horchata.
Does Horchata have a page?
She doesn't, but I have my Instagram page.
Follow his Instagram. He'll make one and
I don't think she'll make one separate. So far, right now, I don't want to make her a separate one just because it's still me.
Yeah.
But I mean, for bookings, I'm definitely. If you want to book me, you can write me on my Instagram. My name is Jesse897. So it's JESSE897.
Or Facebook too.
Or Facebook, which I do have my Facebook link on my Instagram. So
just look up Instagram and you're there. For me, actually, this is a whole new announcement. I did make a Twitter, and I made a separate Instagram page for Ratt Talk, so you can follow me on either of those pages. In Twitter, it is just Ratt Talk, and on Instagram, it's Ratt_Talk. Go ahead and give me a follow there. If you haven't already, go like the Facebook page. Usually at the end of every show, I like to end on either a little audio clip or a song. You guys obviously don't have audio clips or songs that you wrote yourself. But Frank did tell me that his idea of your song for you two guys is from The Used. Is that correct?
He didn't tell me this, so it's a surprise.
Well, there you go. Great. I love it.
Well, I would hope I would be right because I was thinking hard. I'm like, what's a band that I related to him the most, and something that we've both enjoyed a lot, and I kind of kept coming back to The Used. I don't know if I was right or not.
Nah, yeah, he's nodding his head. Perfect.
He just nodded his head.
He did give me 2 songs, but one of them I couldn't get a good audio clip of, so we picked this song. So I would like to dedicate this song to you guys for coming in. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Follow me too at Frankfurt.
Oh yeah, there you go. Instagram, right?
I'm hoping to Instagram. I'm hoping to get back into the music scene. I'm a drummer, so I have free time. My only issue is we'd have to go to a studio, and I don't have my kid at the moment. But I've been really wanting to get back into it. So
perfect. Yeah, and
PHRANK.
Drummers are really hard to find.
Yeah,
they're really hard to
Instagram,
find.
So who knows?
Go ahead and spell it one more time again.
Oh, it's PHRANKFURT. Frankfurt.
All right,
Yeah,
perfect.
like
so
Lena.
Thank you guys again for coming in. Thank you all for listening. This has been Ratt Talk episode 4, and I would like to dedicate this song to you two guys. Thank you again for coming on. This is The Used, The Taste of Ink.
Thanks.
Is it worth it? Can you even hear me? Starting with your spot that